Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Let's Chat with Tanya Lightborn. Today, I'm here with my guest, Regina Hepburn, and I'm so excited to welcome her because she is my first guest that flew in to interview with me. Welcome.
I'm so incredibly happy to be here. It's an honor. So it was worth the flight.
The two flights.
Two flights.
The two
Yes.
flights. Two. Count.
Yes.
One, two. It's so exciting to be here with you. So I have a few adjectives to describe Regina. A few adjectives. I have that she's an entrepreneur, she's a philanthropist, she's a super mom, she's a vice president. She runs several businesses. She's a lover of rainbows. She talks about storms and moments and overcoming, and I think that that's such a positive outlook on life. And not that she thinks that okay, you won't go through things, etc., but she's definitely a propellant or an advocate of just overcoming and knowing that you can get through anything, that any curveballs that life throws you.
Definitely.
So welcome again.
Thank you.
So what we want to talk about today is pursuing your purpose. And I know it's a little bit cliche. We hear, especially going through the pandemic, we hear, oh, we've been thrown into this tailspin. What are you gonna do? Have you found your purpose? Blah blah blah. But I want to say that you have been pursuing purpose for a long time, it seems, for
That's
a
right.
long time. So without I guess going too deep into your story or sharing what you want us to know, tell us a little bit about how you found your purpose and what you a little bit about what you may have experienced.
Well, being a young girl, you encounter so many things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I became an adult.
Mhm.
It was in 2009 that I've always kind of connected with young girls and women and stuff. And as I grew, I always tried to be an inspiration
Mhm.
as an overcomer.
Yeah.
And so there was a young girl that went through losing her mom. She was a good friend of my mom's. Her mom was a beautician, and she was adopted. Her mom had brought her in from another country, and when her mom died, she had no one else.
Wow.
So she then connected with family from the country she was originally from that she connected with. And we stayed in touch. I always checked on her and so forth. And she was a teenager at that point. And I would just always, send messages and see how she was doing because I know, her mom was her everything.
Yeah.
And so one day I sent a message to her and she'd usually respond quickly. She didn't respond until that afternoon. And she said, I just wanted you to know that your message this morning changed my life. And this was someone that, like I said, I would send a message to often.
Mm-hmm.
But on this particular day, she said, I had been dealing with cutting. So in previous messages, I would just encourage her. And, my faith is very strong. So I always would talk to her about God and just, encourage her. And she would just talk about cutting and cutting. And then she said, this morning, I had already planned my death. I was about to go in front of a moving train. And I got your message that morning. And I decided to not kill myself.
Wow.
And that was the moment when I realized my purpose, my pain, everything that I had went through in my life that I had overcame wasn't just about me.
Yeah.
It was for the people that were coming behind me, the people I was going to be able to inspire and to let you know, don't worry about what you go through. Focus on how you get through the healing. And so at that point, I formed Broken Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
God gave me the vision of a broken heart. And she went on to be fine.
Yeah.
But it was that moment that I realized I had a mandate on my life and a purpose.
Yeah.
And so I decided and I came up with healing with broken hearts.
Mm-hmm.
I got the vision of a heart broken with the cracks in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And God said, you have to do this. I'm going to give you a year to get this going. And if you don't, there's going to be some consequences. And I kind of was like, God, I don't want to do. I'm a very private, quiet person. I don't want to be on a platform speaking and talking to girls. And but I realized he was like, you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went forth. I started doing little, events, activities, and stuff like that. And then I started to go through my own healing because I realized I had broken places, broken pieces.
Right.
And then I said, you know what? How do we stay in that broken place and be okay with being a victim? We kind of feel like. And one day, I was actually having with a conversation with my now husband. We were engaged at that point. This was years later.
Mm-hmm.
So broken heart stayed for a while,
Okay.
and I had a mission with that.
Okay.
And then one day I was just talking. I realized God had already taken me away from the broken places,
Mm-hmm.
the broken pieces, and I no longer wanted to see young girls or women as victims.
Right.
I no longer wanted to be associated with the brokenness. How do we get from a broken place to a healing place?
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the car, and me and him had a light bulb moment. And I was talking about an event and certain things I wanted to do. And I said, you know what? It's time to heal. I'm over that. God has already blessed me. I'm engaged. I have a wonderful, life ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
Why stay in a broken
Yeah.
heart? It's time to heal. And
Yeah.
he was like, wow. He said, that's wonderful. Like
Yeah.
the name change.
Mm-hmm.
And I initially went and I changed the name to Healing Hearts.
Yeah, because the connotation for broken hearts, it could sound a little bit morbid,
Exactly.
like, oh,
Exactly.
you're there, stay there.
Exactly.
But healing sounds like, or gives the impression that, okay, you were broken,
Right.
you are transitioning, or you would have gotten through whatever scenario it was, whatever
Right.
situation, and not that it happens like overnight,
Right.
but you would have essentially gone through everything to now come out on the other side.
Exactly.
And so Healing Hearts is I think a perfect name. How have women, girls and or women by extension, responded to your organization locally?
Tremendously. It's the
Yeah.
reason that I'm pursuing my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's women, it's those that send messages after having a conversation with me. I have people that, and it's not just about maybe relationships. It may be about having a family member that's sick,
Mm-hmm.
going through different trials, different tribulations,
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to be a voice of comfort.
Yeah.
I have some friends that will call me and they're like, you know what? You are the person that everybody calls
Mm-hmm.
when we just want to feel better.
Yeah.
And so I realized it is a mandate because they call me for peace. And so I want to make sure that when somebody trusts me enough to be on the phone, or we are out together, or they trust me to have a conversation, I want to make sure that it's always impactful,
Mm-hmm.
that it's always something of positivity or that can push them forward and make the difference in their
Yeah.
life. And so that's why I'm moving forward. I have tons of events coming up, and they are the
Love
reason.
events. Yeah.
They are the reason that I keep going.
Amazing, amazing. How does the person who always gives, whether it's a positive word, a prayer, you're going to get through this, how do you recover once you would have given so much of yourself or your time? And it's not that you have 6 hours that you pour into someone, or you may have sent the message that you sent to the girl back then. It may have been to you, it may have been not just a simple message, but it may have been a quick message, a quick effective message that stopped her from taking her life. But how are you able then to pour back into someone once you would have been emptied?
Well, the thing is, that comes from your support system.
Yeah.
So I'm super blessed.
Mm-hmm.
I have an incredible mother.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bonus mom. I have an incredible father. I have an amazing mother-in-law. I have an amazing father-in-law. I have my children. I have an amazing husband that's super supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very small circle of friends that are like family to me, that pour back into me.
Okay.
So, and I've recently learned of the importance of taking time for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's been a big, because I've always felt like I needed to be there for everybody.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of put myself to the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And so recently I've made times and days that are designated to me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And so that's my way of re-upping so I can be ready to help in any way possible.
Yeah, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
And that applies to motherhood, business,
course,
life,
of
love,
course.
everything, right?
Yes.
When we return from the break, we're going to speak a little bit more with Regina about the support of a partner and what we have to look forward to. We'll be right back. And we're back with my guest, Regina Hepburn. Today, we're talking about finding your purpose. And in finding your purpose, Regina, I feel like it's important to have a support system. Obviously, a village for your kids and just making sure that you can do what you're mandated to do or what you feel that purpose driven life is for you. But how important is it, would you say, to have a supportive partner? And what are different ways that you can support your partner for anybody watching?
It's super important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big part of you being able to pursue your purpose.
Yeah.
For me, I'm really, really blessed because I'm a super active mom.
Yeah.
And I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm so many things, but my husband really propels me forward. He believes in what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he also allows me to really, really, really be a super mom
Mm-hmm.
because my kids, they take up a lot of my time with their activities. They're super athletic and super involved in so many things. And easily, it could become an issue if you're always gone, you're always active.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for him, after we put one of our kids did a lot of track and field.
Okay.
He just recently graduated from FAMU with a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Amazing.
And I think for us as a family, that was one of our proudest moments
Mm-hmm.
because it was those moments of me being at the track, encouraging him and supporting him and being away a lot of times from maybe activities that we personally may want to be into together.
Mm-hmm.
He allowed me to be that mom.
Mm-hmm.
Track mom, and the track mom helped my son get a full scholarship through college.
Wow.
So I think what happens too is with our other kids, it may be demanding. It may be times that I'm not, I can't be at events, but he's seen what this can actually do for our children.
Right.
And so we've balanced it out. He also forces me to take breaks. He sees when I'm getting no time for myself and getting burnt out. And he's like, plan a vacation. We're going somewhere.
Let's go.
Leave the kids too. I happen to have a mom that is super with my kids. And so I can always, at the beat of a drum, she'll take them.
Right.
So we make time.
Mm-hmm.
We make times for us. And like I said, for me, it was something I struggled with because I always thought I had to be present.
Mm-hmm.
And now I realize if you have the right people that you can trust and that you feel safe, in order to find your purpose and pursue your purpose, you have to be willing to let everybody have a piece of the load because you really honestly cannot do it on your own. And that's a struggle.
Yeah, that's the hardest lesson for women. That's the hardest thing to grapple with, or that a lot of women struggle with it. I think it's called mom guilt.
It is
because you think, oh gosh, especially first time moms.
Yeah.
By the second child, you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
You could just, mommy, what time you come in?
That's true.
Or you drop them off and you zoom off. You like gone. But I feel like a lot of moms still struggle with it. It's mom guilt. And they just, they want to pursue the purpose. They want to work out. They want to travel. They want to, go to the spa. But their kids, that's their life. One of the mothers that I interviewed actually a while back said, she had to find herself because eventually her two girls are now living abroad. One is in college and one just now, after she finished college, she lives abroad. And she said, when I realized that they were going to be gone in like a couple of years, she said, okay, I need to start fostering some stuff. I need to start putting some stuff into the universe and, see what comes back. But she realized it would be time to get in touch with things that I like, what I want to do, One of the things that I don't call it balance, I call it harmony. How do you find harmony when everything is supposedly pulling at you? Like, the organization is pulling at you and you want to talk to women and these girls. And then, you may have to travel for work. Or you're thinking of the next master plan. I need to have an event. I need to have an engage event. Or, how do you balance? Because I know, being a super mom, um, it takes you in so many different directions.
So for me, my balance is my faith.
Wow.
I detach
Mm-hmm.
and I take moments, whether it's in the shower,
Mm-hmm.
whether I happen to, I love gospel music. So if that means I'm gonna take 10 minutes and have a praise party in my car,
Yeah.
it's always what's kept me grounded. It's been what I've been able to use to keep me sane.
Mm-hmm.
um, and just that's it for me. That's my time to just find peace within myself.
Yeah.
Has always been God.
I think that's definitely something something that your kids can emulate, right? I always feel like kids, like you can teach them, or you can try to be the example, and they go away and they do some stuff, and sometimes you question it, like, why did they do that? But somehow they always end up coming back to the principles. It's always the principle, um, or the proverb, or you know whatever was said initially. And so you think, gosh, how did you make that dumb decision? And but in the back of their mind, they know that, you know what, I really shouldn't have done that. Mommy taught me better. I know that you mentioned that your parents were very hard workers. Your dad in particular, and your mom was always there to support. How would you say that that's played a role in your life?
I think I've duplicated it without
Yeah.
planning it.
Like you become your mother.
Yeah, I've become my mother,
Mhm.
and my husband is the duplicate of my father.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's almost like inherently you look for your dad
Yeah. And the thing
in a
is,
partner.
you don't necessarily find that right away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just like you said, it's like training up the child in the way he shall go, and when he grows old, he shall not depart.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't intend, or when your parents are speaking, lots of times you don't listen.
Right.
But like you said, they go back to the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I may not have found that road the first time.
Yeah.
Or we may not go down that path and do everything the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, the foundation that was set, or the
Yeah.
examples that have been set,
Mm-hmm.
somehow you always go back to
You
them.
always return.
And so as I've grown older, I find myself as a parent and as a wife and everything, and I look back and I'm like, wow. Like I look at my husband, I often tell him, I'm like, you are so much like my dad. And he
Yeah.
knows it. Like they
Yeah.
are so hardworking. I spend a lot of my time, like my dad wasn't at home. We would go and spend hours at his office. My mom was always working as well, but she always found ways to be present to our events. And it's like the same thing. I teach my kids, daddy cannot be at everything. And you have to make
Yeah.
them understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make them respect what he's doing, or
Yeah.
your partner, what they're doing,
Yeah.
because it may make certain things that are available in your life is
Mhm.
because of that hard work that's put in.
Yeah.
So instead of making it look as if there's a missing parent, you let them understand how important that part of what that parent is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they can't be at every event of yours, you
Yeah.
always make sure that you let them know just how much. And even if my kids have a competition or something and daddy's not, we FaceTime.
Yeah.
They give their words of encouragement right before, so they always know that work is going on. We're
Mhm.
busy,
Yeah.
but you're still always going to be supported.
Right. Right. And by any means.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, COVID taught us
Right.
that we're just a message, a
Exactly.
FaceTime, a video call away.
Yeah.
We're almost always connected.
Right.
On a much lighter note, we're gonna pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a question. Was there something your parents did when you were a kid that you swore you'd never do when you had your own kids?
That's a good question. That is a good question. Wow.
Did either you
I think I would say, and I think I'm still like that.
Yeah.
I think especially when you start to have teenage children,
Oh.
I think that I often go back, and this is kind of how I pull myself into it. I go back to myself as a teenage child.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of times that I think about how my mom may have did something, or my father may have did something, and maybe it might have made me say something at school. I had one friend that her mom used to come and pull her up, and before she got in the parking lot, she used to blow the horn from down the street. So by the time she got in the car, in the school parking lot, you have better been outside.
Let's go.
So, and they would hate it.
Oh my
But
goodness.
it was instances like that. I was like, okay, now my mom is like one of those that is always, she's very loving. Everybody knows her, they love her. And if she comes into school, she'll have to hail everybody, hi, in the parking lot and stuff like that. And so I realized, like, when you're a teenager, you don't want all of that. So I pull my daughter up. I give her, I love you all. I see some of the kids, are super affectionate with there, but I realized I was that teenage. And a lot of my friends that have teenage kids, it's different. It's a different time, so I try to go back to my feelings. How did I feel? How things made me feel with my parents. So
instead of pumping the horn, you're going to send a text message.
Exactly. It's a different time. And like I said, I try to go back to me so that my feelings are like the same. I understand. So awesome. I'm like constantly trying to do that, but
awesome. When we return from the break, we chat with Regina about finding your purpose, how you know you've gotten there, and fulfilling that purpose. We'll be right back. So you found your purpose. You can see it. You can feel it. You have a great indication that this is it. Tell our guests or our viewers how you knew which mode to operate in, and how you got from point A to point B. Point A being where you are currently, to point B, the purpose.
I think once you can identify with the purpose, and my way of identifying was no matter what I tried to do, it always came back.
Really?
So even if you would initially plan to do something, and then you kind of, I don't feel like doing this, so I don't want to be bothered. It's too much work. You realize it comes right back around you. Like, you can't even deny it.
Wow.
And so it just keeps nudging you, and you get signs, you get visions, you got feelings that you got that person that'll send you a message. When are you doing your next event? And I'm like, there's no more events right now. I'm busy.
Oh my goodness.
And then you're like, wow, you can. And my mission, honestly, is not about the masses. It's about being able to change the life of maybe one woman.
Touch a few.
And if along the way that there are more that are impacted, then I would have known that I've fulfilled my purpose, because I know that we all operate in different ways. And so I think it's important, once you realize that you're walking in your purpose, you have the vision to go forward, you have to find people that are going to help you, because there are going to be some people that are going to, when you share your purpose and your plans, they're not going to encourage you. Find the ones that are going to encourage you.
Did you encounter that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
You shared, I want to empower women. I want to.
Of course.
And there were naysayers.
Because there'll always be people that aren't happy in their own lives. And so they have a hard time grasping joy and happiness.
Yes.
And the big picture of how we should all live. Because ultimately, I believe it's God's plan for us all to be successful, to us to be happy, for us to be healthy. I don't think that we're supposed to live defeated.
Yeah.
So just like I said, from broken to healing, find yourself. I have my best friend we don't even live in the same town. She lives in Sarasota, and there's not a day that passes that we don't encourage each other.
Wow.
We never want to be on the phone if it's not encouraging.
Right.
Some days she encourages me, some days I encourage her.
Yeah.
But our whole interaction or relationship with each other is just about love. What did you do? What do you have great going on here? What's next? What did you do to your house? What did you do with your kids? It's all about, but I've had a lot of negative people along the way. And I've had to, sometimes you just have to love them, they say, from the balcony.
Yeah. Yeah, from a distance.
So especially when you're going forward, you're moving up and you're trying to get things done. There's lots of tools out there that, and I think now it's even easier because you have access to
so many.
You have, if you need stuff done, assistants that are not even, maybe you can do online.
Virtual
You can do,
assistants,
you need websites, you need stuff printed. It's a lot easier where, and it's and it's not as expensive.
Yeah.
So there's tools that are accessible once you have your purpose, you know what your purpose is. make use of them. Make use of the people that can make your life easier.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from somebody who always believed that the only way to get it done was to do it yourself.
Yes.
That's outdated.
Yes.
My husband always says, find ways to work smarter, not harder.
Correct.
And so I've adapted. It's been hard to adapt that, but I've adapted. I'm like, you know what? I got some great, incredible people around me. And when we all work together, teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So.
Yeah. Because collaboration, I find, is like one of the hardest things, especially for women.
Yeah.
Because why is Regina all dressed up?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about
what.
She's not going to help me. Why would I ask her that? But she knows how to do it.
Yeah.
She's proven that she's been successful at X, Y, and Z. Why wouldn't I ask her?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I feel as a community that we need to dispel that myth as well. And so on that note, I feel like you've successfully launched something, another facet of your brand,
Right.
which is called Recharge.
Recharge, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So Recharge was birthed right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So I was super excited about Recharge Women's Empowerment Weekend Getaway because as mothers, as wives, as daughters, as business owners, I know for me, one of the worst things is when my phone battery goes dead.
Yeah.
And I have no charge.
Perfect.
And so
Perfect analogy.
I'm like, where's the charger? How can we get plugged back in? And I realized I created an experience that was going to bring us on a weekend, but it was also going to, how can we propel? We're going to connect. We're going to have some fun, but I was bringing business, tax experts, financial experts, insurance, just different parts about women, because we need to recharge maybe sometimes our health. Yeah. Our finances, our fitness, different aspects, and then fun, fashion. So this was all of what was going on. And unfortunately, the pandemic hit. We went into lockdown. Yeah. And I had women that were like, oh man, I need this so bad. I had people that were like, I'm signing up right away.
Yeah.
And then I'm faced with, okay, there's the hotels are not doing events no more. Everything was already booked. We were doing the first one in Florida. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this time pass and not be impactful, not go with my purpose.
Yeah.
I found a way to do my first ever live event, which was,
online?
It was a struggle.
Virtual?
But I said we did it through like Instagram and I had speakers and stuff like that. And I said, God, I'm not going to let my purpose and what I know you've instilled in me to move this forward.
Wow.
So I did it the same date. I did the weekend. We did activities. And I had people that have sent me messages that weekend in tears. This speaker, because we ended it with a pastor.
Yeah.
So I had people and I'm like, wow, this is it.
Impact.
This is, whether it's 4 or 5 or 1 or 20. And right away they're like, okay, we need to when's the next, and then I started, like I said, I already did that.
So I'm done.
And then I would get phone calls, messages.
Came back.
We need another, when are you doing? And I said, right now I'm going to wait until I feel it. And I said, you know what? That's an excuse.
Yeah.
The pandemic gave us a reason to have a lot of excuses. You don't interact with people. You're not going out of your house. You're not. And then I said, you know what? That's enough of it. This is enough. That's enough excuses. You have to fulfill your purpose. You cannot walk in it and then decide I'm no longer going to be purposeful. Today. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have an upcoming event coming up May 1st for Mother's Day.
Perfect.
And it's it's called Coffee and Conversation.
Okay.
And it's already pretty much almost sold out. But it's going to be a small event. Yeah. Right away. I mean, I got and that's when you know. That's when you know. When God, it's like I always say, when God gives you a vision, he's always going to make the provision.
Yeah.
So just make the first step. Do not be afraid. The doors are going to open. And so with that, I'm also going to have I'm going to go forward. I said, I'm not going to wait till next year. I'm not going to make an excuse.
Okay.
Because the first one was in Florida. Then it went virtual. Then I got the vision to do it in the Bahamas. So it was going to be in Freeport.
Okay.
And then the hotels brought the restrictions back.
Got it.
So I canceled that. And I just said, I actually got a phone call from the hotel where I was having this was 2 days ago. This is when you know that your timing is
And
right on point.
alignment.
The lady called me and she said, you know what? I know you were having an event. I know we were locked down. Let's get it back. And I said, you know what? I already had set a date that I wanted to do it in memory of one of our employees that was a great friend of ours. Her last post on her Instagram when she passed away was Recharge, was my event. And I said, whenever I do the event, because it was like she was speaking to me in her last post. She died of breast cancer a few months ago. And she was a big supporter. She was like, whatever you want to do. And I told her sister, her birthday is November 1st,
Mhm.
and then breast cancer is October. So I said between October or November, this is going to be in memory of her. And because she fought, I mean, she was going through cancer. She was fighting and fighting, and she was resilient, happy. Never, you could never imagine the amount of pain she was going through. And I think she signifies that the way that we live our lives, that we just got to keep going, keep fighting, and go after your purpose. So I'm hoping to see you there and have you there. And
we going.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome.
So-
That's a perfect note to end on. I'm so excited for you. I know you're going to just do amazingly well. I'm sure Recharge will. And again, it's not about the hundreds. It's about the 2 or 3 that you touch along the way.
Exactly.
And it's going to grow. Like, I just see it growing.
Thank you.
It's
And I
gonna
feel
be
the same
great.
way about you.
Thank
I know
you.
this is going to be so many great things are going to happen for you. So
Thank you so
thank
much.
you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't think of a better person. We've chatted so far with almost 70 women.
Wow.
This month is actually our 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
So
Happy anniversary.
thank you for being a part of this platform.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you to everyone for